From rogue robots to our digital best friends, artificial intelligence has been haunting and thrilling us on the big screen for, wow, almost a century now. But these movies, they're more than just popcorn flicks, right? They're like a cultural mirror, reflecting our biggest hopes and, let's be honest, our deepest fears about the machines we build. So today, we're going to dive into that gap, the one between the AI we see in the movies and the AI that's actually shaping our world right now. And this quote just nails it. This idea is so central to how we think about technology. Cinema has always been this amazing place for us to sort through our feelings about it all. I mean, on one hand, we want machines to save us, but on the other, we're terrified of being replaced. It's this constant tension, this push and pull that makes these stories so darn captivating. And when you look back, the evolution is just fascinating. I mean, it all started back in the 1920s with that mechanical monster in Metropolis. Then, fast forward to the 60s, and HAL 9000 becomes this perfect symbol of Cold War paranoia. The 80s? Well, that's when we got obsessed with sentient androids and full-on robot rebellions. But more recently, films like Her and Ex Machina totally shifted gears. They moved away from the big explosions to these really intimate psychological questions about what it even means to be human. So what's really interesting is seeing how all these ideas have kind of come together. There's one film in particular that uses the world of video games to ask some of the biggest questions we have about AI right now. And of course, I'm talking about Free Guy. So the whole idea is brilliant because it's so simple. Our hero Guy, he's an NPC, a non-player character. He's literally just part of the background, programmed to live the exact same day over and over and over again. But then one day, something clicks. He breaks his own code and starts to wonder, hey, is this all there is? Sure, the film is a really fun action comedy on the surface, but a lot of critics pointed out that it's also got this Truman Show vibe. It's a commentary on existence itself. And it gives us this modern twist on AI. Guy becomes an internet sensation not by being the best at violence, but through kindness. It really makes you wonder, can a piece of code actually develop free will? Can it form a real, genuine emotional connection? And that, right there, brings us to the million-dollar question. We see Guy just spontaneously develop consciousness and this desire to make his world better. But how much of that Hollywood storyline reflects the reality of artificial intelligence as it exists today? Well, when you actually put them side by side, Hollywood AI versus real-world AI, the gap is just massive. I mean, take this self-aware plotting AI from 2001. In our world, that's basically a voice assistant that follows our commands. The emotional intelligence and deception you see in Ex Machina, that's really just advanced sentiment analysis and mimicry. And Guy's emergent free will? Today, that's a lot closer to something called reinforcement learning, where an AI is just trained to get really good at specific tasks. So here's the absolute crucial point, the thing we all need to understand. The biggest myth is this idea of general intelligence, the ability to think and adapt just like a human across all sorts of different situations. That is nowhere near being a reality. The AIs we have today are incredibly powerful tools for sure, but they operate within very strict human-defined rules. They don't have desires, they don't have consciousness, and they definitely don't have their own goals. Okay, so if they aren't actually sentient, why do they still feel so unsettling sometimes? Well, filmmakers are absolute masters at tapping into this psychological effect called the uncanny valley. You know that feeling? It's that eerie, uncomfortable vibe we get when a robot or a CGI character looks almost human, but not quite. That feeling is a super powerful tool for making AI characters feel both fascinating and, yeah, deeply creepy. And this leads to this weird feedback loop. Movies basically program us to be afraid of a Terminator-style robot apocalypse. But while we're all busy watching the skies for killer drones, the real-world risks are way more subtle, and they're happening right now. I'm talking about things like algorithmic bias in hiring, the crazy spread of deepfakes, and massive misinformation campaigns. And why does this distinction matter so much? I mean, who cares? They're just movies, right? Well, here's the thing. Fiction doesn't just stay on the screen. Lawmakers and regulators have actually cited films like The Terminator in real discussions about AI policy. So when our public conversation is being shaped more by cinematic nightmares than by the actual facts, we risk making rules for science fiction instead of for reality. This all boils down to a really critical question for every single one of us. As AI gets more and more woven into our daily lives, how do we close that gap between the Hollywood version and the tech we're actually living with? So what's the plan? How do we actually navigate this new reality? Well, the good news is there's a pretty clear framework for this. It really just comes down to three essential ideas that we can all start putting into practice today. First up is AI literacy. This is the foundation, the starting point. It just means having a basic understanding of what's happening under the hood. And look, you don't need to be a coder, but you do need to know that it's not thinking. It's recognizing and recreating patterns from massive amounts of data it was trained on. That's the core building block. Second is AI ethics. This is where we get critical. It's all about recognizing that these tools have real limitations and they come with risks. We have to be talking about things like data privacy and understanding how an AI can inherit the very same biases that are found in its training data. That's exactly why keeping a human in the loop for oversight isn't just a nice idea, it's absolutely essential. And finally, once you've got literacy and ethics down, you get to AI fluency. And this is the goal, right? This is about moving from just understanding the tech to actually using it effectively and responsibly. It's about turning AI from this confusing, abstract concept into a powerful tool that saves us time, boosts our creativity, and empowers us to do our best work. Which brings us all the way back to our hero. In a world that is being shaped more and more by artificial intelligence, the choice really is ours. Are we going to be like the background characters, the NPCs, just passively letting this technology define our reality for us? Or will we, like Guy, choose to become active, informed participants, ready to write our own code for the future?